Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of the Tunbridge and Morlin Borough Council Cabinet. For the benefit of everyone watching on our YouTube channel, members of the Cabinet are present in the chamber this evening, and these members will be voting on proposals during the course of the meeting. Other members of the council are also in attendance and participating via Microsoft Teams tonight. They can take part in discussions, ask questions, but cannot vote. Please can I draw everyone's attention to agenda item 1, which sets out the ground rules in terms of how this meeting will be conducted. Before we start the formal business, I shall just ask members of the Cabinet to introduce themselves. I'll start by introducing myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Matt Borson. I'm leader of Tunbridge and Morlin Borough Council and chair of Cabinet. I have Cabinet's names in alphabetical order, so we'll start with Robin Betts.
Yes, present Cabinet Member for Housing, Environment and Economy. Thank you.
Thank you. Martin Coffin.
Yeah, good evening. Martin Coffin, Cabinet Member for Finance, Waste and Technical Services.
Thank you. Adam Mehmet.
I'm a Cabinet Member for Infrastructure and Tunbridge Regeneration.
Thank you. Des Kears.
Yeah, good evening, Cabinet Member for Community Services.
And Mike Taylor.
Good evening, Cabinet Member for Planning.
Having said I'd do it in alphabetical order, I then didn't. So, but everyone's here, which is great. Right, I'll ask officers to introduce themselves so that those of you who don't know who they are do know who they are. I'll start those in the chamber. Damien, do you want to kick off?
Good evening, everybody. Damien Roberts, Chief Executive of Tunbridge and Morlin.
Alison Paris, Principal Democratic Services Officer.
Paul Worden, Head of Finance, Section 151 Officer.
Linda.
Hi everyone, Linda Hibbs, Head of Housing and Health.
Ludmilla.
Hi, Ludmilla Garrett, Property Services Officer.
Stuart.
Yes, Stuart Edwards, Head of Administrative and Property Services.
Good evening, Dean Radmore, Tunbridge Town Centre Programme Manager.
And we also have joining us online Robert Stiles.
Good evening, Chairman. Robert Stiles, Director of Street Scene, Leisure and Technical Services.
Thank you. Adrian Stanfield.
Good evening, Chair. I'm Adrian Stanfield, Director of Central Services.
Thank you. And Eleanor Hoyle.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, Cabinet. Eleanor Hoyle, Director of Planning, Housing and Environmental Health.
And James Bailey. You there?
Good evening, members. James Bailey, Head of Planning.
Excellent. Thank you all. Thank you all in chamber and online. I shall move on to the agenda proper. So agenda item 1 there, just the guidance on how the meeting will be conducted. Item 2 is apologies for absence, but we have a full house, no apologies. Item 3 are declarations of interest. Does any member have any interest to declare? No. Agenda item 4, we have 2 sets of minutes to consider tonight, or to sign off. The meetings held on the 30th of June and the 29th of July respectively. They're on pages 15 to 28 of the agenda. Can I sign both of those minutes as a correct record of those meetings? That was agreed. Thank you very much. Agenda item 5 is on page 29. That's the replacement of Shallows Bridge at Haysden Country Park. And Robert Stiles has popped up on the screen. So I'll hand over to Robert.
It must be me then. Thank you very much, Chairman. Members will see that the report recommends the inclusion of the replacement of Shallows Bridge at Haysden Country Park. The list A of the capital plan, with over half of the costs met from developer contributions. The pedestrian bridge has been condemned by a structural engineer employed by the council, and full details of the project are outlined within the capital plan evaluation at Annex 1. A map is also provided Annex 2, showing how this substantial bridge links the main car park at Haysden Country Park to the Haysden water side of the facility. The project is included in the current year of your approved annual service delivery plan, and the bridge will be widened at the same time to improve accessibility for both people with disabilities and those with buggies. The bridge will also be designed to have a longer life, which we estimate to be around 75 years. Finally, the main risks of the project, which Cabinet will see from the report, is the need to remove the current bridge first to assess the existing abutments. It's very much hoped that these will be in good condition and no significant additional works will be required. But I think it's important to point out that if a problem does arise, I will need to report back to Cabinet on whether the project remains cost effective. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert. Des, as Cabinet Member responsible, do you wish to add anything?
I think Robert's covered absolutely everything there. I think it's Haysden Country Park. It's an absolute necessity that we invest in it and bring that capital plan forward to the list A.
Thanks, Des. As always, and I'll do this on every agenda item, I'll come to members who aren't in Cabinet first. So if you do have any comments or questions, please do put your hand up. And having said all of that, I don't see any hands online. So I'll then come to Cabinet members. Martin?
Thank you. Just a question, if I may, through you to Robert. With the new bridge being proposed to be wider for DDA access and so forth, does that mean the abutments are likely to need improvement, or are they sufficiently wide, or is that part of the process of the evaluation?
Robert, you're on mute.
I think I'm going to go for it's part of the process, Martin, because my honest answer is I'm not 100% sure. What I've been advised is that if the current abutments are satisfactory, then they should be able to cope with the bridge that we're bringing in. But that's something I can certainly take back and check up on.
Thank you, Mike.
Just curiosity, really, Chair. Will the new bridge be available if the abutments do prove to be sound to go straight into place? Thank you.
That's a good question. Robert, do you wish to add anything to Mike's question?
Well, there will be a delay because obviously we have to have the structural engineer assess the abutments. But if they are okay, then we will proceed on the basis as outlined in the report. I mean, it may be that some small works are required to the abutments. We just don't know until we remove the existing bridge, and we can't do that assessment at the moment before that bridge is removed.
Excellent. Thank you, Robert. Very helpful. I don't see any other hands, so at page 29, paragraph 3.1, we have a recommendation, and that is that we recommend to full council that the scheme be transferred to list A of the capital plan, subject to the assessment of the abutments that we referenced. Do I have a proposer for that recommendation? Des, I'm happy to second that myself. Thank you, Mike. Can we agree that unanimously? That was agreed unanimously. Thank you all very much. By the way, paragraph 4.1 of this report has got my favourite pub quiz question of the day in, because this council owns a total of 28 bridges, so that'll be coming to a pub quiz near you at some point. Right, item 6, don't come to a public quiz with me, I think of that story, is on page 39. This came from the Housing and Planning Scrutiny Select Committee of the 15th of July in relation to proposals for monthly member briefing sessions on pre-application developments proposals. This had a long airing at the Select Committee. Mike, as Cabinet Member, do you wish to add anything to their recommendation?
No, I'm just glad to see this moving forward. I really do appreciate the work the officers have put in on this. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. I don't see any other comments from members online or any one in Cabinet other than Adam.
Thank you, Chairman. No, I'll just briefly add that I think it's a very good idea to try and improve these schemes coming forward and allow members to have a say on them from an early stage, so that hopefully by the time they come to committee, everyone can feel they've inputted into it and added some value to it. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. Thank you.
Excellent. No, I think it is too. So in that case, on page 40, we have the recommendation to essentially adopt this plan. Can I have a proposer? Thank you, Mike, and a seconder. Thank you, Adam. Can we agree that collectively, Cabinet? We can. That was agreed by everyone. Thank you all very much. Right, we now move on to executive non-key decisions, the Riverside Route Lighting Project in Tunbridge. Robert has appeared on my screen again. Do you wish to say anything to start this off, Robert?
Yes, thank you very much, Chairman. Hopefully this will be the last time I appear, so that'll be a relief. But Cabinet will be fully aware of the Riverside Route Lighting Project from previous reports to your meetings. The project is included once again in the annual service delivery plan and will provide lighting to create a safe and secure path between the area of Town Lock and Vale Road. I'd like to thank Dean for all the work he's done on this, and we have now received the design report from the consultants, and this is shown in full at Annex 1 to the report. The budget for the works is very close to the original budget we had in the capital plan and can be funded in full from developer contributions. So this project will not have any cost to the council. We're currently awaiting the final report on the ecological appraisal and also some final feedback from the Kent Wildlife Trust and the Environment Agency. And if any issues arise from that, the recommendation this evening requests Cabinet to grant approval to myself in consultation with the Cabinet member and local members to make any final amendments to the design. The purpose of this approach is to avoid any delays in the construction works commencing, as I know members are very keen to progress this project as soon as possible. And members will note from the timeline attached at Annex 3 to the report that it's hoped that all works will be complete by the end of this financial year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Robert, Adam or Des, do you wish to add anything? You've both been involved in this.
I'll just say that it's great to see it coming to fruition. I know yourself, Chair, have pushed this for a number of years, I think, and also local members of Tunbridge. So I think it's really good to see an outcome, a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's good to hear Robert sort of like bringing it all to fruition. So well done. Thanks very much for that.
Oh, it's been a long time coming, this. Right, I don't see any hands online. Any other Cabinet member wish to comment? No? Super. Right, there's two recommendations for us to consider. Robert's gone through them. I won't read them out in full. They're at 3.1 at the bottom of page 53 and 3.2 that's over the page on page 54 that does include the delegation that Robert spoke about. And critically, 3.3, which demonstrates that we can find £94,000 worth of funding in full from external contributions to deliver this sort of scheme for residents in Tunbridge in this instance, and it wouldn't cost the taxpayer a penny. Can I have a proposer for all those recommendations? Des, thank you, and a seconder. Thank you, Adam. Can we agree that collectively? We can. Thank you all very much, and thank you to everyone who has worked on this over the course of many, many years. Right, item 8 is the local nature recovery strategy. That is available at page 87 of the agenda. If I can just, well, members of the council will have received a few emails from this about this over the last few days, and hopefully it's clear to members of the public too by looking at the websites for Tunbridge and Council where this agenda is published. But we have been waiting for Kent County Council to publish this paper. Fortunately, it means we can consider it tonight, which is good. So there is additional paperwork to what's on the papers in front of us. James Bailey or Eleanor Hoyle, do you wish to add anything to this?
I can just comment to members. I mean, obviously, as set out in paragraph 1.2 of the report, this is the sort of the final strategy as in accordance with the regulations that KCC is required to consult the Kent authorities on. So effectively, the recommendation to members is to consider the Kent and Medway local nature recovery strategy and consider whether it is acceptable for KCC to publish the strategy, or if members do not consider it acceptable, then obviously we have to issue a formal notice to KCC and set out reasons why. But in terms of your officer's view, it's been through a long process. Your officers have been involved throughout the process in terms of developing the recovery strategy, where we've been a consultee on that basis, and officers are in agreement that the strategy should go out for consultation. Should go out in its final version as set out on the papers. So thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you very much, James. Mike, do you wish to add anything? No, nothing to add. Okay. Any comments from members online? None that I can see. Cabinet members, anything else to comment on? No? Okie doke. So James referenced the recommendations from our officers, which are quite clear. These are summarised at recommendation 3.1, 0.2 and 0.3 on page 88. I won't go through them again. We've obviously referenced the publication issues on that. Can I have a proposer for this? That's Mike and a seconder. I'm happy to do that. Can we agree that collectively, Cabinet? That was agreed unanimously. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much, James, to you and your team for their work on this too. Right, we'll move on to agenda item 9, which is on page 93. This is the budgetary control and savings update from July as a point of time. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. The report details the Council's financial position to the end of July 2025. The revenue budget is currently showing an underspend of around £730,000. This is made up of the following key areas. Salaries is currently underspent by £92,000, primarily a result of staff vacancies throughout the authority. Income itself is showing as £5,000 below budget. Whilst this is not of a concern at the present time, it is as a result of increased car parking income being offset by an underspend on or under recovery on planning fees at the present time. Treasury income remains above better than budget towards 116,000, primarily a result of higher interest rates and the delays in some of the capital projects that we have planned for this financial year. Approved member budget adjustments are, as shown in Annex 1, total 148,000. And other variations to the current budget predictions is shown in paragraph 4.7, amounting to £675,000. But I would hasten to add 2 of those items are major issues from additional grant received from government. The business rates position as it stands at the moment shows a small variation against the original estimate, but the final stages of Panettone Park, namely the Tesco's building and the properties at Junction 5 and the M20 have yet to be valued by the Valuation Office. It's a long process. We have been through this before and we're hoping that we will get something through, but depending on what happens with fair funding, I'd like it delayed till next financial year if possible. Capital expenditure is shown at £607,000 for the financial year, but the majority of schemes are now progressing, namely the Gibson building, which is in the order of £3 million. Moving on to the savings target, the Council identified a £2.8 million funding gap as a target at the February Council, with a target of £600,000 to be found for this financial year for inclusion in the budget for 26-27. The annual service delivery plan set myself and my predecessor a target to identify an initial £300,000 by the end of summer. The savings exercise was undertaken reviewing the previous year's spend against the current budget and has identified £182,000 worth of savings within the revenue budgets identified by services. This has been summarised in the table as paragraph 7.4. In addition to this, the effect of the over-provision of inflation, which is explained as paragraph 4.7.1, adds a further £120,000, bringing us to £302,500. Further work is ongoing with myself and the Chief Executive and service managers and directors throughout the year to identify the remaining £300,000 for inclusion with the 26-27 budget. I'm happy to take any questions, but ask Cabinet to consider the recommendation at 3. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for a very clear report too. Martin, as Cabinet Member Finance, anything to add?
Nothing really to add because Paul has summarised everything there, but he made reference to the business rates and particularly the lack of valuation on certain properties and the fair funding review. These are all quite important issues to this authority. It would be quite helpful if the Valuation Office, in some respects, were to delay their valuation because it might put it beyond the reset which we're expecting. It's one of those things we've just got to keep a very close eye on because it could fundamentally change our income streams on that. Interesting that the savings targets to 2,500 above target, pretty close, but we're very good at being very fine with our finances as an authority. We still have 300,000 to go before the next budget, so let's not lose sight of that. But other than that, the report is very clear. I think it's very concise, and yeah, nothing more to add.
Thank you very much to both of you. Hopefully no one from the Valuation Office is watching this meeting too. Right, I don't see any hands from members online with questions. Cabinet, any questions from you? No? Okie doke. Right, in that case, there were 3 recommendations at 3.1 that effectively ask us to note stuff. So I guess this is a report for noting. No, we'll agree it, shall we? Can I have a proposer for those recommendations? Martin, I'm happy to second. Can we agree to note those recommendations? Excellent. We've agreed to note. Thank you all very much. And thank you to Paul and Martin in your new roles, or new old role in Martin's case, but for all of your work on this report. Right. Page 105 is where we will find agenda item 10. Well, I can't find page 105, but I can now. This is the sports facilities evidence that arose out of the Housing and Planning Scrutiny Select Committee meeting of the 15th of July 2025. There are on page 106 2 recommendations. The first effectively asks us to adopt a strategy. The second effectively gives explains where this sits in relation to the local plan and other council work streams as part of the base of that. Des and Mike, it's sort of a bit of a plan and a bit of a leisure document. Anything to add from either of you? Mike?
Thank you very much. An incredibly detailed document. It took me about 3 goes to get through it. And I've learnt about sports I never knew existed and sports grounds I never knew existed. I just have one tiny little problem with it. On page 428, the joint parish escape park is missing. So subject to that, I'd be happy to propose we accept it.
Sure, we can add that. I wondered why Mike had gone quiet for a few days and now I know what he was doing. So excellent. Lee Athwell.
Hi there, thank you for letting me speak. I just have to raise it one last time. I still worry about the accuracy of some of this reporting. There's certain sports that I know quite a lot about, and I would argue that some of the detail is incorrect. It makes me wonder who's been consulted, and then I wonder about the sports that I don't know so much about, and it just makes me worry slightly that we are accepting all this as a blanket of exactly what we need and exactly what we have today, when there are some things in there that I would definitely take issue at. It's probably too late to have that conversation. I know I've raised this a number of times. I don't know what we do about it, but I just raise that as a note of caution. I'm not really expecting an answer.
Thank you, Lee. What I would just say on that is we should make a decision tonight on this. We have, and consultants we've worked with, done a very thorough review of our sports facilities across the borough. As Mike said, it does go into detail. Just speaking about sports I know well, particularly football, that's a sport I probably know best. I know because I've spoken to clubs who were interviewed as part of the process, and I've spoken to some of the leagues to know that they actually did a jolly thorough job in terms of actually getting the current position on the ground. So it would have been helpful to know earlier now if there are any particular instances in which you didn't feel it was the case. But from my perspective, what I'd say is I've got no evidence of my own to suggest this hasn't been done in a thorough. Don't see any other hands online. I'll come to cabinet members. Adam.
Thanks, Matt. Just to add, it's a very important document to basically try and secure, to provide the evidence to enable us to negotiate Section 106 contributions from developments that we can basically put towards improved leisure facilities for our residents. So yeah, it's very key that we adopt it, I think.
Else? No. Okay, so we've got the 2 recommendations on page 106 that I referred to. I'll perhaps move that we adopt the recommendations as per the committee with the addition of the joint parish escape park at page 428. So I'm happy to move that from the chair. Can I have a seconder? That's Mike. Thank you very much, Mike. Can we agree that unanimously? We can. That was agreed unanimously. Thank you all very much. Right. Page 443 takes us to risk management, which is the recommendations of the audit committee from the 21st of July. On page 444, we have two recommendations relating to the update to the strategic risk register since its last iteration and the service risk identified at that part of the report. I don't. The chair of the audit committee isn't here, but that's okay because I've actually spoken to him about this and there's nothing further to add from that meeting. I'm looking for any hands. I don't see any hands online. I don't see any members of cabinet wishing to speak. So can I have a proposer that we agree the recommendations of the audit committee? Thank you, Robin. I'm happy to second that. Can we agree that unanimously, please? Excellent. Thank you very much. Agenda item 12 is the annual Senior Information Risk Owner Report 2025-2026. This went to the Finance, Regeneration and Property Scrutiny Select Committee of the 29th of July 2025. There are 4 recommendations on page 463 for us, which hopefully you see. Dan, as chair of that committee, do you wish to add anything to the deliberation? I don't know if Dan can hear us.
Sorry, Matt, I missed that.
No worries. Do you wish to add anything to the annual Senior Information Risk Owner Report that was considered at the Finance, Regeneration and Property Scrutiny Select Committee of the 22nd of July?
No, I don't believe I do.
Excellent. Oh, that's right. No worries, Dan. Thank you very much. In that case, I'll look for questions. I don't see any questions online. And I see one in chamber from Martin.
Again, not so much a question as a statement that the report we had was very thorough, the debate we had was very good, and the result, the recommendations are indeed good quality recommendations. Thank you.
Excellent. In that case, we can probably take the 4 recommendations together. Happy to propose. Can we have a seconder? I think Martin, you were there marginally first. Can we agree that collectively? Excellent, we can. Thank you all very much. Right, that's agenda item 12 done. Agenda item 13 starts at page 479. These are decisions taken by cabinet members. So you have quite a long list. I won't read through those that have been considered by a committee before, but I'll just pick on those that haven't been considered by a committee. So I don't believe we saw the Food and Safety Team Service Plan 25-26, which is a decision Robin made on the 18th of July. Anything to add, Robin?
No, it's nothing further to add. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And then the next ones after that were the write-off of unrecoverable debts over £5,000. Martin?
As usual, we only write off debts that are unrecoverable.
And so we're written off. And then over the page, we have the decision from August, which was taken by Des for community workers Trench and community worker Eastmorton and Hartfield. Anything to add, Des?
Nothing to add.
You like? And no questions either. So thank you all for your decisions. Agenda item 14 is at page 481. That's the notice of forthcoming key decisions, which are expected to be taken in October. There'll be another notice published in a few days' time. Can we note those, please, Cabinet? Noted. Right, agenda item 15 is urgent items. We don't have any urgent items or that are worth talking about. We don't have any at all, to be honest, whether they're worth talking about or not. There's lots of things that people would consider urgent, but not urgent for this meeting. Right, agenda item 16 are matters for consideration in private. I do regret to inform all of our viewers on YouTube that we do have to ask at this point that you consider leaving the meeting, because we do have to consider items where the publication of information related to those items would disclose information that cannot be in the public domain. So please, can I have a proposer to move into part 2? Martin, I'm happy to second. Are we in agreement to do that, Cabinet? We are, in which case, thank you to everyone watching on YouTube, and I will perhaps ask Alison to let us know once the stream has ended. To all our viewers, have a good evening.